I think we are transporting into a very conceptual issue. First, the most important conceptual issue that when we came in, people doesn't see the subtle difference. We say that by electing us, the Rakyat has now the right over the resources of the state. That's a conceptual issue. That means but for the Barisan Nasional, by winning the election, Barisan says now the government is in charge of the state. You see, that is a different. A government is in charge of the state. But Pakatan Rakyat concept is the people now has the power to the state. So that's the two different. Okay, why these differences become important? Because every policy issues in the future, we will have to discuss from the Pakatan Rakyat view how this action benefited the Rakyat. Of course, from the Barisan Nasional point of view, if you look at the difference is when we are the government, we own government, then we will now give to the Rakyat. That means they think they will have to decide for the Rakyat. But we say we will think how the Rakyat wants. There is a subtle difference, but that subtle difference is very important. For example, when you say you are government, you become a government, then we say when you donate to the Rakyat, then you say the Rakyat must bersyukur kepada pemberian tersebut. That means you are already the boss, then you give. But Pakatan Rakyat cannot say like that. Pakatan Rakyat will have to say that I'm giving back to you. That means you are the owner. I'm just a manager. We are just the trustee. We are just the trustee of the Rakyat. That means the Rakyat give us the trust to manage the resources on their behalf. That's the difference. So, if you want to ask me how I describe the difference, it's very highlighted in the issue of free water. Issue of free water highlight the differences in thinking. So, a Barisan government will think privatization is good for the people. Okay? Then they say. And they say, then after that, I will decide how the privatization works. But for the Barisan Pakatan Rakyat will have to ask a fundamental question. How does this privatization really benefit the people? And that translation, then you have to go through the logic of who really benefited. That means how much the entrepreneur benefited out of it, how much the state benefited out of it, how much the consumer and the people benefited out of it. And the concept of free water is to say, if by privatization, the cost of this exercise is only landed to the customer and all that, then it doesn't make sense. And if the entrepreneurs are making extraordinary profit, that means the answer to that question, who are paying for the extraordinary profit? The extraordinary will be the customer. So, in the redesigning the concept of privatization, you have last time only two parties, the government as if representing the people and the entrepreneur. But to us in Pakatan Rakyat, there are three parties. That means the government, that means the trustee or the manager, the entrepreneur, because they are interested in doing it in a privatized manner. Third is the people. So all the three parties must see the benefit. So that's a radical change from the current concept. For example, who owns the oil companies in Malaysia? Huh? If the answer is the government, and then the government will then, at its own will, donate the people, or it will change the thing. So in the discussion, peoples are not part of the total equation, but a subset of the total equation. So these are the concepts that we have now. And I'm trying to say, second, I will give you the two. When I look at the resources of Selangor, like for example, the sand, tanah merah, and all that, how the Rakyat benefited totally out of that. If the state is regarded the owner of these so-called resources, then if the state were to become the seller of these resources, then how much will the state will get? But if the state become only the licensing agent of the resources, how much the state will get? But invariably, we can prove to you, if you are the owner and the seller of that thing, not only you are not the license issuer, the return out of the first exercise, the first option, is far greater than what you have. The perception problem is that since we are not part of the so-called federal government team, therefore the federal government may do in their own way to make sure you will not be able to manage the state successfully. I think I'm not sure that is the right attitude we should have. As a state, I am taking a positive attitude because it is the interest of the federal government to make sure state government like Selangor very successful, because the contribution of the state government towards the economy of the country is substantive, and therefore any federal government who wants to achieve the vision of developed economy will have to work with the state in the most manner. But on average, Selangor grow higher than the growth of the federal government.